What if I told you the future of the Gilded Age isn't about the wealth, or even the war between old and new money, but about a betrayal so deep, it could rip New York's golden facade apart? Season 3 just proved something shocking: this world isn't as untouchable as the Russells want you to believe. George barely escaped an assassination attempt. Bertha found herself more isolated than ever. And Marion, she shattered hearts with a decision that left Larry's entire future in ruins. But here's the forbidden question nobody's daring to ask. If Season 3 was this brutal, what darkness has Julian Fellowes hidden for Season 4? Because behind every glittering ballroom and every polished smile lies a secret the audience was never meant to see. And I'm telling you right now, if you missed the final clue buried in the last episode, Season 4 might blindside you completely. What if I told you the glittering world of the Gilded Age has finally cracked open? And the cracks aren't going to be sealed by diamonds, money, or marriages. Season 3 ended with a storm nobody saw coming. George Russell, the titan of industry, the man who believed himself untouchable, was nearly killed. An assassination attempt, right in the heart of New York's empire. Think about that. If even George the Iron-Willed King of the Railroads can be taken down, then who's safe? And it wasn't just George's life on the line. Bertha's rise to power, that ruthless climb up New York's social ladder, hit its loneliest point yet. For the first time since we met her, she wasn't the woman commanding the room. She was the one standing alone in it. Isolation is more dangerous than any rival because isolation leaves space for betrayal. And then Marion. Sweet, sensible, almost too careful Marion. She delivered the single coldest heartbreak of the season. She turned her back on Larry. Not because of scandal, not because of status, but because she chose safety over love. That choice might make sense on paper. But emotionally, it was devastating. It left Larry and fans gutted. So here's the pain point: if Season 3 tore down the very foundations of security, business, society, and even romance, then what's left to build on in Season 4? Or are we about to watch everything collapse? Let's be blunt, Julian Fellowes has never been afraid of upsetting his audience. He did it in Downton Abbey, and he's doubled down here. The finale of Season 3 wasn't just shocking, it was divisive. Some fans are furious at Marion. Others think Bertha has finally overplayed her hand. And a silent, dangerous question hangs over it all: did the attempt on George's life signal that the Russells' empire has finally reached its limit? Now, if you followed me this far, you already know where this is going. Because hidden in those closing episodes was a clue. One detail buried so casually, most people missed it completely. And yet, it may be the single key to unlocking Season 4's biggest betrayal. And trust me, you'll want to stick around, because once we expose it, you won't be able to unsee it. But before we dive into that forbidden knowledge, let me ask you, if you're the kind of person who loves pulling apart the hidden strings of power, love, and ambition in this show, then you're exactly who I make these breakdowns for. So hit subscribe, because what's coming next is going to rewrite everything you thought you knew about the Gilded Age. Now, back to the secret. The final 2 episodes of Season 3 held something almost no one talked about, because it was overshadowed by George's shooting and Marion's heartbreak. But it's there, and once you notice it, you can't ignore it. The clue is this: Bertha Russell's allies are quietly disappearing. Look closely. Ward Pallister, the man who once ushered her into society, destroyed himself by publishing his book. Agnes and Ada, who never accepted her, were suddenly on steadier ground than ever. And even Gladys, sweet, obedient Gladys, has started pulling away from her mother's shadow. Bertha, for all her diamonds and ambition, ended Season 3 without a single secure friend. That's not just storytelling. That's Julian Fellowes setting the board for Season 4's deadliest game: isolation. And here's the forbidden part, the thing most viewers won't want to admit. The Russell dynasty may not survive Season 4 intact. Because history tells us something chilling. In the real Gilded Age, titans of industry could rise to the very top, and then lose everything overnight. Bankruptcy, betrayal, scandal, even murder. Fellowes is obsessed with this cycle, and he just foreshadowed that George and Bertha are about to step into it. Now imagine this. George survives the assassination, but at what cost? He's weak and paranoid, unable to trust his circle. Bertha, desperate for influence, makes one wrong alliance. Gladys, finally emboldened, defies her mother. And Marion chooses another path entirely, one that leaves Larry shattered and fuels a rivalry that could burn the families from both ends. It sounds dramatic. But let's not forget Fellowes thrives on tragedy that feels inevitable only in hindsight. And that brings us to the 3 most dangerous theories for Season 4. Theory 1. The betrayal from within. What if the attempt on George's life wasn't random? What if it wasn't some faceless enemy, but someone close? A business partner. A disgruntled ally. Even a family member manipulated into it. If that's true, then the Russells aren't just fighting rivals. They're fighting their own house. Theory 2. The fall of Bertha Russell. Bertha's climb has always been about control, but her Season 3 isolation may be the seed of her undoing. Season 4 could finally show Bertha losing everything she fought for, not to an enemy, but to her own pride. That's the tragedy Fellows loves most, watching power eat itself alive. Theory 3. Marion's forbidden choice. Marion rejecting Larry wasn't the end. It was the beginning. What if Season 4 pushes her into a romance or alliance that doesn't just defy Larry, but directly threatens the Russell legacy? Imagine Marion siding with Bertha's rivals. That's not just heartbreak. That's war. And here's the real kicker. Each of these theories loops back to one unspoken truth. Someone in Season 4 is going to lose everything. And it won't just be a side character. It'll be someone at the very center. The signs are all there. The isolation, the betrayal, the collapse of trust. Fellows has laid his trap, and Season 4 will spring it. But here's the question I want to put to you. Who do you think Fellows will sacrifice first? George, Bertha, Marion, or Larry? One of them won't make it out whole.